Yeah, new colonists coming into Africa. I think by now you have heard that there are about 300 million Chinese who are going to settle in Africa. A number of reports and signs on the ground review a very sinister move by the Chinese. Yet, amongst all that, an extraordinary event is happening in China, affecting China and also the world economy. Hamiti Maarifado, this preacher Rabbi Elem Dumizul. May we all rise to the occasion. Committee Bureau Ethics, revealing our story and the hidden power in our greatness, the real story of our ancestors. Be lifted up and dwell with the stars that never set. In an interview, Doug Kasei made the following shocking comments. Some years ago, a Chinese high government official said that their plan was to move 300 million people from China into Africa. And sure enough, it's happening very slowly and carefully. African governments are giving preference to Chinese exploiters who are destroying everything or in their way. They call it investments. You go to this website and study it. But let us ask a simple question: that why do our people accept it? And who speeded this Chinese colonization of Africa? It's shocking, but this is the man, the hero of African politics, with his Look East policy. And he never thought it's colonization, but sure enough, that is what is happening. The Chinese program is called One Belt, One Road. You look at this, it is quite clear. The report by Kasei continues, and he says, from a long-term point of view, China is taking over Africa. It's a very intelligent plan and an unspoken part of their One Belt, One Road program. They loan money to some backward African government to build a port, a railroad, an airport, or whatever they have. The loans are a hard sell. African governments will obviously fail to pay, and China takes over the land and factories. Follow current affairs, it's happening. Of course, on the other side, there are some presidents in Africa, like the Tanzanian president, who said that Chinese loans are for mad people. This is what President Magufuli said. Exactly, this is how we can escape this debt trap. These are the leaders that we have in Africa. Unfortunately, in other countries like in Zambia, the Chinese have already taken over assets. You can see here Mzwazi Sakala on Twitter. The debt trap diplomacy is a recent term that is used to describe Chinese loans for infrastructure and development in developing countries. And you see our people think, and our people are pushed to believe that the Chinese are our friends, that the Chinese really love us, that they supported us during our so-called liberation struggle. Africans are so divided and too trusting. They think that China is a friend, and this makes it easy for the Chinese to manipulate us. The fact that we are easy to be manipulated arises because we have not resolved the scramble of Africa, or for Africa, the Berlin Conference borders and the Berlin Conference nationalism and sovereignty. Again, because of the Berlin Conference, when they go to the Organization of African Unity or African Union or any United Nations, they think they're trusting, they think this is it, this is good, this is for us, this is for our development. But they forget that the system in which they are operating is called the Scramble for Africa Berlin Conference. It pretty much determines who they are and what they do, and many other factors that come in. If our leaders can read a very small book called The Paeket's Principle, The Great Secret of Asia, by Brother Baem Biik, they would know the exact plans the Chinese have for Africa. They are not good, bad. What have you also done in your personal life? What you can do is very simple and straightforward. You can spread this message. You can tell people that China is not a friend, that China is planning to settle 300 million people in Africa. You can highlight this and campaign and make it public knowledge. That's not very difficult. We have to be smart. But above everything else, something strange is afoot on earth. And what is really happening is through this coronavirus. We really have an issue with this. The coronavirus in Wuhan province in China. And the symptoms and incubation period is unknown. And that is like a fever, that it makes it very difficult for you to breathe, that it affects the liver, the kidneys, and severe coughing and pneumonia. And a novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV was identified as the source of the illness on January 7, with the infection traced to a Wuhan seafood market that also sold live animals. So you go to this Al Jazeera and study about it. You have to know a lot about this because it's a phenomenon that is coming, and it is connected with, let's say, the 300 million people are already in the process of coming to Africa. That's what we are saying. Let's think about this and consider our immigration rules, and let's highlight this to all our politicians in Africa, because this is spreading all over the earth, causing the slowing down of the economy and causing mass confusion. And there is the coronavirus. Some think it came from the bats or snakes and transferred through bat soup. And the symptoms: fever, chest pain, chills, rapid heartbeat, breathing difficulties, and pneumonia and kidney failures. And also things like headache, and it can be transmitted through coughing and sneezing. That's what a lot of websites and a lot of professionals tell us about the coronavirus. So Kasei prophetically stated that in all his opinion, you go to this website, which we are indicating here, is that this may indeed be the plan, but a lot can go wrong when attempting to take over an entire continent, and I hope something goes terribly wrong for the plan. And so when it comes to this coronavirus, there are so many other issues around it. Prophetic messages, there is a book here highlighted by Dean Koontz, The Eyes of Darkness, and there is inside it on a number of pages, he explains about this Wuhan 400, which he terms as a perfect weapon. Other scholars and other people that looks at various factors have said that this is not exactly the same thing, but the similarities, as far as we are concerned, are there. And there's also another book by Sylvia Brown, who is a psychic, which she wrote with Lindsay Harrison, called End of Days, Predictions and Prophecies about the End of the World. And so she explains that in around 2020, severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes and resisting all known treatments. One more passage, which is not from Kunz, is exactly what we have just explained. So you go to this Africa Check website and you read more about this disease or this virus, so that you can be in the know and have the information about it. At this point in time, it is quite clear that Africa is not really affected. When you go to this website, Gisanda data maps total cases of coronas at the time of print on 6 March 2020, about 100,000 people in America, in Europe, especially in the United Kingdom, in Yemen, there, in China, you see all there, but in Africa, there is nothing much. In Australia, it's there a little bit. So the question that we have to ask is, why is it not there in Southern America? We understand it's there now, but why is it not dominant in Africa? That's what we have to think about. Ubuntu Mahati. We need no prophets, no priests, no priestesses. We need no holy books. It's all about you alone, using your thinking and your ability to be aware of these facts and the occasions that may cause the transmission of this disease. That's what we here at Marifa Development Organization, Committee Hebrew Ethic, we want to say that be lifted and dwell with the stars that never set, working smarter daily, because this world and what we have just narrated is very, very, very serious. Subscribe to our channel, Hamiti Buru Ethics, Maarifa Development Organization. This is our email. Send us an email and let us discuss these issues. Hamiti Buru Ethics, Maarifa Development Organization helps people of Bantu heritage reclaim their spiritual identity. So till we meet, thank you, Tatenta Siawonga. Have a good day and a safe life away from the debacles of many other challenges that we face.